Hey sis, it is very early in the morning, very early in the morning. But I came to my car actually because my day's getting ready to get started early. But to tell you all something, it's something that was on my heart. It, you know, I'm going to call this, some of you are killing your kids. And the reason I'm going to name it that is because I'm looking at kids today, and not all of them, because some kids are doing great. They're going for their future. They're listening to their parents on some things, and they're actually doing what they're supposed to do. But there are a lot of kids. A lot of you all are keeping your kids in bondage. For real. I mean, like, I miss my kids when they moved out, and I miss them. I pray for them. I do all that, but I'm letting them grow up. Some of y'all won't even let your kids move out the house. And I hear people, they're like, well, I don't want my kids to struggle. I give them everything because I don't want them to struggle. But they're adults. We're made in the struggle. If you don't ever let them get it for themselves, you don't ever let them struggle, they will forever be in your house, and they will forever be a problem. They have to spread their wings out there. They have to. You got to push them out the nest when it's time. Your son shouldn't be 32 years old living in your house. I said what I said. He's not helping you. You're carrying him. He's dead weight. That's why you can't do what you need to do. I love my son. If he is in a situation, he can come home for 90 days. I have to see him trying. That man is going to be somebody's husband and father one day. You've got to stop doing him an injustice. Because he's your baby, you want to hold on to him like that. Loose your grip. You're not helping him become a man. You're not. You're actually hurting him. I also hear a lot of kids complain way too much. And they got it made. Basically, technology does everything for them. Some of them can't cook. Don't know what an iron is. Some of them can't think for themselves. Some of them just cannot make it because you're holding too tight to your kids. So, I was just thinking about myself too. Like, I remember being homeless. And it wasn't my job to go run and try to beg everybody for their help and do all that stuff. I stayed in shelters when there was space, but I used to give God praise, even sleeping in the car. Because I remember when I didn't have the car to sleep in. Some of these kids wouldn't know what to do if they lost you. They wouldn't know what to do or how to live. A big goal of mine was for my kids to be able to make it when I'm gone. They might not walk the perfect path. They're going to stumble along the way. But can they survive on their own without you? Like I said, I was giving them praise even when I was sleeping in my car. Because I know what it looks like to sleep in abandoned houses and stuff like that. I know what it looks like to sleep on the street. I know what that looks like. I'm not saying I want my kids or your kids to go through what I went through. All I'm saying was I was able to make it dependent on Christ and not my mom. If a lot of you all are like me, you didn't have your mother, so I go the extra mile sometimes for my kids. I do, but I don't baby them. When they were kids, yes, but they're grown now. Those babies are grown now. I remember my kids, they were babies. They were younger. I used to ride my bike. If you're in Kentucky, you know where I'm talking about. I used to ride my bike from Cane Run, almost by Ralph Avenue, all the way to Riverport to go to work. I would have my son on the front of the bike and my daughter in that seat in the back. I would drop them off at daycare on my bike. Then I would ride on down the street to work on my bike. But before there was a bike, there was a walk. I used to walk, get up real early, walk them to daycare, holding my son. And sometimes my daughter didn't want to walk, crying, and it's early. But I used to walk them to daycare and get on the bus when I had the money. But a lot of times I didn't have the money to get on the bus because I had to pay daycare. You know what? That time while I was walking, I was still giving God the glory. I complained sometimes. When it got real hard, I'd be like, Lord, this is a lot. It's a lot. I became an emancipated minor early. So I had my own house early. I paid my own bills early. I did all that stuff. But the thing about it is I knew how to go ahead in faith, depending on Christ. Some of you all are being your kids' God. They look up more to you than they do to God. They're never going to depend on Christ as long as they're dependent on you for every step in life. Loose your kids from your grip. Let them grow up. Let them live this life. You are killing your kids with your loneliness. Some of you women are trying to make your son your husband. You don't want a man because you've got your son and you're stopping his life. A lot of you all are keeping these girls under your grip too. They get so spoiled, they steal from you. They do everything under the sun and you always make excuses for them. Some women have taught your kids to be very manipulative. Some of those girls are they're practicing witchcraft. They are very manipulative toward these boys. If you let your kids grow up, you won't regret it. But if you don't let them grow up, they're going to be your problem. Some of these grown men also, you're 40 years old, going to your mom all the time for bill money. Money just because. Did you forget your mom is a mother and she's a woman? Like, at some point, you're supposed to be taking care of her. We're supposed to take care of you as kids so that you can be there for us when we're older. Ladies, sis, I'm really just trying to be real with you. Like, what I say when I'm on these messages it's from my experience. It's what I've went through, and it's how God has kept me. So I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just telling you what was on my heart. I got up for prayer, and it's 5 o'clock now, and I get up at 4 o'clock. But that's what's in the prayers, is let these kids grow up. You're killing your kids. Loose your grip. And kids today, they really, they're just like, I can't do this. I can't do that. You know, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Your mom is not your only strength. They are sent here to guide you when you're babies, when you're younger. But when you're grown, you should act as if you were grown. Don't just be grown when you want to stay out late. Be grown full throttle, so you can be able to handle this life. Because I'm telling you, in life, things will happen unexpected. Things will happen that are out of your control. Things will happen, and you've got to be equipped with how to handle these things. And there's no way to be ready for it. You just got to trust Christ. I also remember I wouldn't ask people for money and stuff. I thought other people had a life too. I literally would go give blood. I would donate plasma so I could get my son some diapers. I didn't call his dad begging him and stuff like that because his father didn't take care of him. My son's father was not in his life. I made excuses for that man, because I didn't want to sit here and just be bashing him and stuff like that to my son, because no matter what, my son loves him. I let my son see for himself what kind of man he is when he grew up. And it's his choice, however their relationship is. So, I'm just begging you all, help your kids. Help your kids by letting them grow up. Please. Help your kids by letting them grow up. A lot of the young ladies, the girls are crying like, this is hard. You got one baby, and it's hard. A lot of you all, because like me, a lot of you all told your kids, don't have kids until you're ready. Kids are like, they're a lot of work. So if you went outside of what your mother told you, boys, if you got a girl pregnant, step up. Girls, if you got a baby and you were hard-headed, you weren't listening, shut up. Deal with it. If it's a lot of things that you all have that we just did not have. Like me for my daughter, a lot of y'all got help. A lot of your mothers, they watch your babies. They help you all out in life financially. A lot of you all still live at home with mama and you ain't going nowhere. You all have help. A lot of us didn't have help raising the kids. I had to go to school. I had to go to work. I had to catch the bus from one location to the next location. I had to buy my own car. I had to pay my own bills early. I had to do those things. You all are not struggling like you think you're struggling. So you can't buy certain things with your money because you got to get things for your kids. That's not a struggle. That's being a mother. It's just like, you all have to see the blessing in what you all have. And a lot of you all keep on having kids and you're still living at home with your mother. It's time to move out. If you're going to keep popping babies out, don't keep putting that on your parents. We are here to be grandparents, not the parents. And I'll talk about that too. A lot of young kids, They don't want to grow up. They're scared to grow up. They're scared of having to pay for school by themselves. They're scared of having to raise their babies by themselves. They're scared. A lot of the older women, y'all don't want to get old. Why not? There's grace in growing old. A lot of women want to just try to hold on to their youth to the point where you can't even be a grandmother to your grandkids because you're too busy trying to have fun in the club. How old do you have to be? How many clubs do you have to go to finally say, okay, if I've seen one, I've seen them all? When I was young, I acted young. But at some point, you should grow up. You shouldn't be young and stupid all your life. At some point, you should grow up. You should have some kind of knowledge to feed your daughter or son. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you all, loose your grip. Let these kids go, these grown kids. They cussing you out, disrespecting your house and everything else. Let them go. It may hurt you in the beginning. You may shed some tears. But you rather shed tears now than shed tears later when they're on drugs or dead or something else is wrong. Let your kids grow up and keep them in your prayers. I love you, sis.